You're fine. I did not see you over there.
Or Charles, no. Now I'm joining the meeting.
All right, first thing, is there any public oh, wait, got it. I have to do that, and I'm going to increase the size of this. There. I didn't break anything.
Nice job.
Thank you. That starts the recording, yeah. Working. Okay, any public comment? Once or twice, hearing none, we'll go on to treasurer's report and approval of expenditures.
Okay, the finance committee recommended payment of the bills of $69,982.65. I move that the board approve payment. Is there a second?
And second motion?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hold on. Wait. Consent agenda. It does have the minutes, admin committee report, building committee report, outreach, Upper Hudson, and president's report. I think it got put back in, right? Please tell me it did.
Yes, the president's report is there.
Thank you.
Evelyn.
All right, so we got the 6 things. We're going to pull the admin committee notes from the pack, so we can do the motion. Okay, from the packet, from the consent agenda. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda without the admin committee report?
Yes.
Okay, and we have a second, and all approve?
Aye.
Okay. So we're gonna do that. All right, so that's pulled and done. Marie,
Yes,
I didn't know if you approved or not approved.
yes,
Okay,
sorry.
that's okay.
Packet Senator didn't say it.
What?
The packet Senator didn't make a motion, didn't, a signal to indicate it was, sorry. Between us, I'm sorry, packet Senator.
Oh, is that what I heard packet instead of Pakistan? That's my hearing. That.
Sorry.
Admin committee report. So I think, have we all had a chance to look at the admin committee report? And run through the recommendations. We have one that has come up in our finance committee meeting too, which is what materials should, could, and will be in the packet. Do you want to put the motion on the table?
The new motion.
The new
Yeah.
motion? Yes, please.
I just kind of read this, if that's okay.
Yeah.
The admin committee makes a motion that materials included in the monthly board packet be shared online prior to the meeting unless it is a material of confidential matter. The credit card statement will also be excluded, as well as charges that are included in quote bills to be paid, and other fully identifying account information will be redacted.
I second the motion.
Okay. I don't understand. So what is being excluded other than the credit card report?
Well, let's say there's some personnel material that we've ended up reading in our packet. Or something of, I think the other thing is when we're looking at property. And there's any discussion of that and it's ended up in our packet. Those materials are of a confidential matter and should be excluded. Does that make more sense?
Yes, that clarifies it.
Thanks.
So we're not talking about excluding other financial information. We're talking about other types of information.
That is correct.
Yeah, I don't think there would be other financial information that would be appropriate to exclude.
Well,
Except for if you were negotiating around property or something.
well, right, that's financial, it's a, how's that, it's a gray area? That something might be of a financial area, but.
Cupcake space.
Yeah, upon review.
Exactly, but would fall under certain other,
You wouldn't have certain things, you wouldn't have certain things that you would do in executive session. You wouldn't write those in your board packet to begin with. Yeah, other than we're going to executive session to discuss and you would list the permitted topic in the most generic sense.
does that work for you too?
Are you talking to me or,
Yes, Mary.
I was uncertain. Yes,
What is this? This,
Oh, the motions, this is it, that was the original when I started. I copied that, I printed it before. So, we have the motion, we have a second. Any other discussion or questions? In
I
that
know,
case-
I know
Yes.
Kirsten had concerns also last time as well as Keith. So Kirsten, does this address your concerns?
I believe so. I believe my concerns have been addressed.
So in that case, all in favor?
I,
Yay, my first motion. May I continue down this path here? Do you want to keep going through this, or is that not necessary?
Is there anything else that you want to discuss? And yes.
I did want to bring up, so the committee prepared an exit interview instrument. We came up with 9 questions for when an employee leaves TPL, what the executive director can ask, and it can help us for future, just assessing and, yeah, and we sent that along, which you approved, thank you, and we would like you to beta test it on the next employee that is leaving. And something that we can be using from here on out as a policy,
It works.
if it works.
I liked it, I wasn't being flippant, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I didn't,
It
there
was
was
to
no,
the point,
exactly,
and I think it gives us the answers that
absolutely,
are useful.
yes, I agree, and
Really good at.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, we,
Yeah.
so it's important.
I think it's good for us.
We had talked about it before, but we had talked about much more huge.
I don't think it needs to be, yeah, so
Or cumbersome to work.
we'll present that to the board with all of the questions and everybody can review it before it becomes a true policy.
And just we would be interested in hearing your thoughts on how that instrument, how the results of that instrument are shared out.
Yeah,
Who gets. How they get, who are, that gets shared out with, how it
Yeah.
gets shared out. How long it's maintained, that's what.
Sure.
Curious.
yeah, there's,
Details.
yeah, yes, this is the first
Step
step.
one is.
But I
Try
agree,
it out.
and I, just as a precursor, I do think that we should be part of reviewing, like, all of us should look at the results. Because they go-
We may, however, need to find a way to make for a certain amount of anonymity. Just so we don't fall into the trap of discussing the employment history of a particular person.
It could,
We've got to be cautious how we do that.
it
Okay.
could be handled similar to how we handle incident reports, if you want to do it, you gotta come to the library, and ask.
Yeah, there's one.
We will figure out and absolutely present that, but this is our first step. Towards that,
And once it's beta tested, that's the other thing is it will go to the full board too, for the questions, at least the questionnaire. Which will have to, be actually formatted,
Sure.
in an actual piece of. Usable,
With formatting. If you're on a paper plate, still tastes good.
well,
It's a
doesn't take better on commercial. It's way better.
Yeah.
Not so much on salt.
we also reviewed the director's evaluation instrument that we just made a few changes and we'll hope to have that submitted to the board for next month.
For preview.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, just to be clear. But we're trying to get things done efficiently and quickly. And yeah, we will continue to monitor the progress of the safety committee, excuse me. And yeah. That was our. Yeah, we had a productive, I had COVID last week and we had a very productive meeting. So yeah, admin committee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
Makes sense.
so we're doing all
you.
of this. Good. Regular agenda. I think you're on, because you're gonna talk about Lansingburg.
Oh,
Lansing,
could I had another comment on the administration committee
Please.
reports.
Yes.
There was no listing of the people who attended the meetings.
Apologies on that. It was everyone that is on the board, but we will make sure to do that
Or on the thing, yeah.
on the committee. We will. From now on, make sure to do that.
Thank you.
That's my COVID brain.
Do not fall my sword. Add names.
okay, should I cover Lansing? first,
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I won't repeat what actually happened, nobody knows what happened. I mean, I just wanted to do an update, at this point, the floor. The carpet, the front floor, the other subfloor. And so on, whatever subfloors there were all removed. A new subfloor has been installed. The wall on the south side of the young people's area is completely removed. Down to the bricks. And part of the ceiling, which is that stamped metal ceiling, is removed. Okay, basically as of today, they have finished everything they need to do, that was water, so floors, walls, the ceiling section. So they're done with remediation of the water situation. Tech America, who's our roofers in this case, will start the repairs on Thursday this week. They didn't start on today because it's still snow up on the roof. So with rain tonight and tomorrow. They should be able to get up there on Thursday and with that started. It shouldn't take long, a couple of days to do the repairs that are listed. After that, as of probably next week early, quick response will be back to do the restoration.
Okay. The damage, like, what was the book damage, like,
Very next to none.
oh, really?
Yeah, everything in that room is in storage right now, not in the building. All the books, all the stacks, everything.
Okay.
That room is empty.
But the books were not, it wasn't, it looked like just from the watching the video, the way that.
What happened, yeah, they're fixtures like this, okay, in between the rows, the rows of books. And the water came straight down onto the floor. Didn't go to the book. Except for, there was a paperbacks collection that got moved, but they were old.
That's minimal, okay,
Well,
that's great.
Not a big loss.
Thinking aloud, did we get any pictures of this?
Yeah, we got some.
Okay, because some of them could be useful for our history, some of them could be useful for outreach. Some of them could be useful to a future building committee to wonder, what did they find when they opened that up back in 2023?
The one thing that's
Take
really
pictures now, I'll strip it down.
interesting to
Yeah.
me, when I was up there today, because I wasn't there until. I hadn't seen the wall completely taken down before, I went in today. It's down to the bricks. There's a bricks. It's kind of cool. I think we ought to go with it, I mean, they're old bricks, they're not like new and beautiful and all that. But they're very, It's an architectural thing.
Aesthetically.
And there's a big steel beam, you know.
Pursuit Scott.
Knowing that means
No.
there's.
The architects would like
So
to.
I did wanna learn a little bit more. I know when we met, the building committee had said that your initial assessment was that the financial needs were being met by the insurance initially, that was your assessment. But of course, now that we are getting more into it, it'd be interesting in hearing whether your initial thoughts had evolved at all. For instance, I'll start with a question. The roofing company is doing roof repairs. What warranty will that repaired roof system have? Will that be a 20-year warranty, a 30-year warranty?
Great question. I own the other one.
Exactly. And so that prompts me to ask a question then. Would it not perhaps be prudent to identify additional funds so that we could do a roof reconstruction of that area that would give us a 20-year or a 30-year warranty? So that we don't have to revisit again in 5
Well,
years or.
I think so, but I think we should do these repairs now.
Oh, I agree, 100%, absolutely,
As
let's
soon as
button
it's
this up,
done.
oh, yeah, let's, but.
Yeah, I think we should look at.
There was a conversation that there were some funds that were being offered by the city, for instance, that. It sounded like there wasn't necessarily anything that was identified at the time that might be eligible. I'm wondering if now we have a more time to think about it. Might we not recognize that there could be some opportunities for, if there are funds available, boy, it'd be great to be able to.
Yeah, I didn't think of putting it in those terms, but I think we should, could.
And maybe we want to revisit that conversation that we had with the city, is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Sure.
I think that'd be great, if we could please pursue that.
I think that's fine.
We talked about the interiors and the brick and whether we do the brick exposed or not, it's. Honestly, we do some things quickly to sort of button things back up again, get a little bit, but if we want to think about long-term. Making this, and the other thing I was thinking about, the wood floors, there are wood floors down there. We hope that they're putting wood floors back, but maybe they're gonna put wood floor linoleum back that looks just like wood floor, maybe, I don't know, I don't know what they're proposed to put back. Yes, exactly, so
We
maybe
had,
they're gonna put back stuff that we think is great, it's just as good as that original stuff that was there, and we love it, that's good. Maybe we need to be prepared just in case we recognize there's an opportunity or need to do things right.
Yeah, I think, the whole new roof idea is probably the way to go. I mean, within the year, within this year.
Might be, if we're already in talks with a roofing company, it might be worth just having them give us a rough estimate, and then looking out to bid at some point, just to get an idea.
Well,
of what it
yeah,
costs.
I think, that's the process, but I think we still need to do these repairs.
Oh, of course, yeah.
At this point, so we can get,
Yeah, I mean, we gotta open up the library,
Yeah,
there's no question about the repairs, but just giving us some more
Yeah,
insurance.
we
going
go
through a couple
through,
decades.
yeah, I mean, we could. It would take much longer if we went through the public library construction grant process.
Right.
It takes a couple of years.
But if the city is gonna,
But
is willing to kick us some money that we could use perhaps a little more expeditiously.
plus with any luck, we may have some of the money left over that the friends have collected, for the project.
Yes,
It's the money that the city offers like a gift. It's just Even,
Yeah, I think
how does that work?
also in terms of raising funds, this is still a pretty good thing, to raise funds for.
And does it have to be specific for building or can it be used for?
I think there's a little bit newspaper.
Or what we've been concentrating on is that it's the children's area, it's the young people's area. And that's what we,
Right. So is there a way that the money could be used for improvements of the young people's library itself and not just the building?
I think it's a great idea, it's probably something that we would need the city to answer. Well,
Just
we could
curious
make
about
a-
how this, if
If we could make a case for it, I think.
Everything else.
But a decision has been made on the city level that these particular extra ARPA funds were to be used for young people.
This is the young people's part of the Lansing Library.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
so
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
why
like,
it's in the first
Yes.
place.
right, so I'm saying, is there a way like, some of that money could be used to have new computers or something like that, like, is
Going
that?
into matching grant to repair the roof.
Yeah,
Or
like
replace
it's just like, is there, like, I'm just, you know, is this an open-ended? As long as in the young people,
I think the other ARPA funds are capital improvement related. I don't think they're equipment related, but again, I'm not.
Okay.
positive on that.
Well,
But I certainly think anything on the capital side that's
Yeah.
in that part of the building. Could be
yeah,
eligible.
all I know is that the decision was made to benefit young people with those extra funds.
fantastic, and I think we should take it.
Yeah, we
Maybe
can
there's no,
try.
I'm not really sure why we wouldn't take
The
it.
problem is with this particular project is I didn't know, or still don't know, what the insurance company is gonna cover.
Yes.
You know, and so I can't be specific and say, yes, we want these funds to go to this project.
Do we necessarily need to have a specified budget that we need to bring to the city saying we want X amount of money? That's genuine.
That's what they're,
They said they want
I think if we could point
itemization.
at-
we had to have a plan.
I think if we could point to an area of roof, that's a very easy one to say. This portion roof,
2,000 square feet of PPM.
and it sounds like there's some slope proof as well, so I think if we can get someone to advise us on. And I would be generous, I don't think, water doesn't always go straight down, sometimes the water wants to cross, I would be expansive roof level. Of roofing that is out of warranty. I would guess all with roof that warrant that's bird out of warranty.
And that there is the additional application there of the skylight.
Did Skylight leak at all?
It did not.
No.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, no, because
We had done that work on the skyline probably 5-6 years ago.
Okay, well, that was money well spent.
Right. But the roof is older, they're not part of the big portion of the building, it's not. I don't think it's not 20 years old. But. When I looked at the shingles look worn, and I think that the EDM part also
Pretty crusty from that.
is stretched, and it's, you know.
Now, with the DDM system, it is possible to get a 20 or 30-year warranty from the manufacturer. Shingles, I don't know where any manufacturer will give that kind of a warranty.
Yeah.
Might be able to get installation.
But you can get,
commercial.
but you may be able to get maybe a 5 or 10-year warranty on shingle portions. And the warranty, installer warranty. But at any rate,
They're over 30. Yeah,
so.
I was trying to look for when the heck I did that.
Residential, no, not like that's a lot of that. Residential, commercial,
Suppose we start
a smaller,
outside of that
smaller number.
hours.
So the funds that were offered by the previous administration. Does that offer still stand?
Well, I think that's what we need to explore, Lori. I think I would encourage, if the director could go back to the city. Bring along the newspaper article and say, hey. We'd like to know more. Yes.
Can you send me that? Can I read that?
And we've also asked them for funds toward more funds for the HVAC as well.
But it doesn't hurt to keep asking them for this, for that. That's what they're there for. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
And if,
They offer.
and the first question could be, because there is a change in administrations, is it still on the table? Is offer this, is it still? And if they're gonna put more money that way from there than the other, that it still releases other monies for us to put it into.
What if it frees up?
Yes.
It's that game, it's not the shell game, but it's how you manage your money.
Yeah, it's keeping
Or just fungible.
That's a bunch of stuff, Jesus, like a lot. So. All right,
Did you want to?
any other,
Doesn't really say that we don't.
okay, any other questions by Lori or about Lansingburg or any, are you done? Do you want, is there more to say?
I'm done with Lansing.
Okay.
Is there like, is there a timeline in mind, or is it really just?
Yeah, roughly, it's,
Sometime.
it should take the rest of this week and into next week for the roof repairs. After that. There's about 3 weeks for renovation.
So the earliest it would even open is
It
mid-February.
looks like mid-February right now.
Maybe,
That's my best guess,
maybe.
but it's a guess.
A Valentine's soiree at the library to raise funds.
Young people are-
Wait 300 people.
Thank you, Paul, for advancing.
Yeah, wow.
Appreciate it.
Invite the young at heart.
One last,
Checkbook.
one last question about Lansingburg, are we getting about 3 inches of rain tomorrow? Are we gonna have, did the roofing company?
The roofing company
Park
was
for
there
anything?
today, they were looking at any possibility.
Or do we have any concerns that we're gonna have a repeat, especially since we just installed a new stuff?
That's why I called them to go and check.
Okay, and they assured you that it shouldn't be an issue? I'm getting the document.
As sure as they can,
Okay.
yeah.
I won't take that joke. Okay, so are we done with anything else, Lansingburg-y? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Foundation request. So I don't want to have, and it's not that I don't want to have to, if anyone wants anything repeated on the foundation request, it's in the president's report. All the backstory of this particular request.
What else?
Testing. So at any time. Anyone wants a tutorial on our relationship with the. Right, Public Library Foundation and their relationship with the Community Foundation of the Greater Capital District. I will be happy to do it. We probably won't want to do it before it, but maybe over tea and toast sometimes. This is fun. And it's long. Anyways, the monies that the Tri-Public Library Foundation has are invested with the Community Foundation. Community Foundation gives them the report of how much of their unrestricted monies they are allowed to use in, the year. This year that was $30,549.29. The donation net. They have their own expenses and they would acknowledge, and the library acknowledges that they have their own expenses. They have to do their own audit. They have a support staff person to pay. Sometimes they need to buy equipment for the support person. So acknowledging that we told them what we needed, which was $36,303 to our match to New York State Construction Fund. And the discussion started. It was a virtual meeting, which made it really easy to see who was talking, but the discussion is that by consent, they agreed to grant the Tri-Public Library the entirety of the available amount to help meet the library's New York State construction grant. So, yes.
I apologize. I
No
didn't
problem.
jot down you mentioned the entire amount, I didn't catch that.
36,000?
They have $30,549.29.
But you asked for 36, right?
I told them we needed $36,303. So. They came up with their discussions and they decided to give us everything that was available. Today. We also have, they also have, yes,
Do we know how much was in the restricted account?
we
For
do,
curiosity's sake?
it's. But I have to look, I will, if you ask me that question again, I'm sure if you remember, I'll go look it up and later, we get it.
I would need this, deep
No.
dive.
No, derailing, not at all, now I go back to my notes. I want to make it clear publicly that at least two members of the foundation have agreed to donate money from their community foundation accounts to the library in order to help match. We were asked if we would, if even with those donations, it might not be the, 36 that we need, if we could make match, and I said yes. I said, if that's the bottom line of the question, yes, we can, we will make it, we'll make it, we will make it.
Is that unusual?
What?
Pardon my ignorance
No.
of the community foundation and how this works,
Yeah.
but so two people have run on the board with the TPL Foundation, which interfaces with the community foundation. What foundation accounts is this coming from?
Well, they have their own. I would have my own if I wanted
Oh,
to.
so they're personal,
Personal.
okay,
They're
okay, that was my question,
Okay.
because we're taking money from.
No.
I just want to.
It's
Two
not
members,
giving, though.
Yes.
It's a gift.
A gift,
two
okay.
members will be giving money from their own personal accounts to us.
How generous and kind.
Yes, but we will consider that a restricted donation. We're gonna take it anyway,
Yes.
but restricted for the match,
Okay,
restricted for the match. That's how they wanted to be clear that that's what. Well, one originally, I think, was just doing it because it became a issue, and another one said that. So their consensus was money's coming from them personally would be towards them. So I'll use that word restricted. Okay, it was very thoughtful. And
Off the orders of magnitude, we're talking about dollars.
until the check comes, I don't want to say. Is that okay? Of course. I just want to be careful about that. Probably. So, plus I will also give credit to those members of the private public library foundation, that because they do have their expenses, members have agreed to help pay those expenses. Because they have to get the money from somewheres. So, step one here is. I got too many papers. This is a problem with my life. Too many papers. So I I would like to put this motion on the board. The board of the Troy Public Library gratefully accepts the Troy Public Library Foundation's grant of $30,549.29 on behalf of the Troy Public Library. This grant will be used to meet the library's required match of the New York State construction grant. We thank the TPL Foundation and appreciate its support of the library. And we have a second from Kirsten. Any discussion? Online discussion? Marie?
No,
Okay. In that case, all in favor?
I,
Got it, Marie, thank you. And I'm a die. So, yes, it was unanimous. Thank you very much. So the next thing is we send them the fact that we will send this motion. And we will. Hopefully then start the vote. They're voting on sending us the check. Yeah, we didn't say we accepted it. It's fine. I showed them that.
Yeah.
Next. One last thing is, at the behest of members of the foundation, I have a dance, and I am going to comply with their request that I share the information again that much of their money is restricted. They can't touch it, period.
Can I ask why? For curiosity's sake.
Because those are the rules when they put the money in the community foundation of the greater capital district.
Okay.
And again, I can go.
I was mostly.
But that is
wondering if it's a
basically it.
Procedural thing, or if it's like a legal thing.
No, it's not legal, it is the policy of touching the corpus. And in fact, the fact that they have an unrestricted fund is due to some other dealings with the community foundation of the greater, the CF. Some years ago where they took a certain amount out of restricted because of issues that happened with the CF. Go into more detail at some other time, but that is why we have any of that money. And to be honest, their sole purpose is supporting the library, you know, the TPL Foundation. And they try to do that, their belief is that again, they also want to grow that amount of money, they would like to do that. And it's that balancing of the fact that there is need now, not tomorrow, and what we need, what they need, and kind of balancing that all out. But we are very grateful for that. All right. John, things going, and
I did
Yeah.
notice in the
What?
new trustee handbook that community libraries working with community foundations is common. Was specifically mentioned in the new trustee handbook. I just wanted to mention that.
oh, thank you, Marie. And by the way, Marie, thank you so much for the link to the online version of the trustee yearbook. Going in
Oh,
my-
good. I'm glad you got it. Sometimes I'm not sure whether things actually go out.
I got it. Anyway, so got it. It's quite a read. I can't wait till we get our hard
I was
copies.
gonna say, do we know when we might get a?
I'm gonna ask tomorrow. I can guess tomorrow, see when we can get on this. People have it out. Oh, this is an aside before I forget to, back to the admin. That we start doing the, what is it, upload, download, sharing of the information online by next month, if it all works out. Are we all,
So what are you referring to? specifically?
material sharing, that's
Oh.
what the admin, the,
Yes.
is, okay?
No exceptions.
What?
No exceptions.
Oh, okay, all right. I realized I wanted to say that and then it went out of my mind. Mia, let's talk Pia.
Yeah, I
Got
think
this down.
so. On my director's report, I had answered, the questions that people had about, PLA. And at this point, I would recommend that the board freeze the 403B plan to PIAA. And what that does is, leaves the, 403B in place. Employees can continue to contribute, but the board no longer would contribute, to that plan. I think it's basically the best thing to do at this point. The other two choices, merging, I have no idea what that would mean because we don't have anything to merge it to. And termination, I don't think is necessary because that takes away the employee's ability to continue to maintain that 403B. Okay. So I'm recommending that the board get the resolution to freeze 403B plan through TI.
Then we can place a motion on the table.
I can't.
I know, Joe, you got a copy of it, Jim.
I'm just suggesting.
And I might have to add a little tiny bit to this because there's the A and the B, so. if-
Evelyn,
Yes.
Kristen.
Well,
I'm sorry.
maybe, please let us know when this appropriate questions, conversation.
Okay, how about I put the motion on the floor, we go through the second and then discussion, all right. The board of the Troy Public Library authorizes the TPL director to, quote unquote, freeze the current 405B. Plan. What? Oh, I can't speak. Sorry about that. 403B plan held with TIAA with the understanding that current employees may continue their contributions and new employees may enroll. We have a second, and now discussion, I'm sorry.
There are differences in costs, moving forward. Between freezing. Terminating. Merging. Merging. Is there? Or is do nothing an option as well? It's a relative cost to the library.
Do nothing is not really an option. Because we have to document that the Troy Public Library is no longer going to contribute to the plan as we did in the past.
Okay.
Freezing. Using the term freeze, telling them that we're freezing it, and that's the term they gave us, means, yep, everything's in there, it's safe. The employee can still continue on their own, but the board has no fiscal responsibility to add money to that plan. That was what we talked about, that was entirely in our lead up to making the decision to join the New York State retirement system. The board's contribution to the employee's retirement is now being made by means of our payments to the New York State retirement system.
So is there a difference in the costs to the library moving forward? Financial costs, annual fees, dues, expenses with either of these options?
Yeah, does deferred comp charge us anything? I assume Tia did? These? or-
I'm not asking about New York State, I'm just asking about these options here within TIA. Differences in annual costs to us, I'm just curious.
There's no further cost.
I don't know further cost to us, okay. That's
This is, I mean, we have to remember, we have a contract with TIAA as well as with our employees, saying that we contribute 5% of their salary.
currently,
Yeah,
yes, but
and that's why we need a resolution, to freeze this.
so if we freeze it, will we continue to make any payments to TIA?
From the library.
No, we don't keep paying.
Right.
That's
No
what
more payments
No,
from the
that-
library.
Your answer was backwards, I'm sorry.
Just saying, we don't have any more payments.
We don't have it, and this is that, he says.
no maintenance fees, no annual dues, no expenses that come from the library. I'm just gonna be employees, they make
Yeah.
direct payments, that's.
Joy may have an answer.
Yes,
Hello, Joy.
I just wanted to chime in here real quick if I may. So the library does still turn in the contributions for the staff members, but we don't pay anything. We're just like a pass through.
Yeah, it's a pass through, so we don't have an annual fee to pay to be a member, no. Maintenance fees that come directly to the library, no. So it sounds like a great win-win-win.
It's better deal than
We've got the program. The current employees can participate to their heart's desires and wishes.
2005.
Sounds like even new employees, I'm really impressed, that's awesome. The library does not have to make any contributions towards it beyond your direct time to administer that, which I understand.
Yep.
And then we've got
Yes.
other programs set through New York State that we will contribute to on behalf of the employees moving forward.
Correct.
That is great.
And,
I'm very excited about that.
and we do acknowledge and appreciate the fact it does take your time to do that,
Yes.
and there's always a cost to that. Being fiscally aware, but we appreciate it, thank you. And thanks for
Oh.
answering the question.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or what for? So we have the motion, we have a second. All in favor?
I.
Aye.
And now,
And now we want to talk about, we're gonna have it's not on here directly, but how we talk about deferred compensation. In conjunction with TIA.
what is common when agencies join the New York State retirement system is they also ask to become members of the New York State Deferred Compensation Plan. The Deferred Compensation Plan allows the employee to contribute their own money without a match from the local agency to a managed fund retirement plan.
Pre-tax.
You can do it either way. And most do it pre-tax, but you could, actually is a way to do it, Peter, I believe, but. Again, this would not, other than it, the small administrator would not impose any financial burdens on the library. The advantage is for people who might be moving between libraries who already offer this, it's seamless. It's another thing we can do to recruit and retain persons who could even choose to contribute to both TIAA and the New York State Deferred Compensation Plan. And they have to be aware of their limits, how much the IRS lets them contribute in a year, but it's not a liability of the libraries. I'm ready to make a motion on that, if you don't.
Is it, it's the employee's responsibility, I just see in the notes from New York State, it's the employee's responsibility to move anything in the TIA account over to the deferred company.
They don't have to move it.
They don't have to move it.
Their TIA account can live with them till the day they,
My question was if they want
if they
it.
wanted to move it.
That's their
they move it.
responsibility, choice.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, please. Did you have that?
I think chicken friends there.
A motion to authorize the director to begin the process of enrolling the Troy Public Library in New York State Deferred Compensation Plan.
Okay, and a second,
Any more discussion?
let's ask, any discussion?
Yes, so in reading over the minutes from last time, I saw that there was some discussion of polling the staff as to what they would like to see. Was that done?
No, I haven't discussed it with anybody. As I said, I don't really see a lot of people interested in that since we do. I mean,
Marie?
part of the plans with TIAA is a
Exactly.
deferred income plan. I mean,
They're essentially this similar.
just not sure I see the benefit of having two, but we can have two.
Joy, did you have,
I was just gonna say, Marie, there's very few people that are right now in the TIAA, but it hasn't been discussed widely because we weren't sure if we were proceeding with the New York State comp.
One thing I'll tell you is that the New York State plan is just so easy. And your contribution levels can be so minimal, that in my experience in state service, even our part-timers signed up, because it was just so easy to do. And again, as we look to retain, it's something else we can offer, and it's something that we can show as part of our, when we're recruiting. And to include recruiting people from other libraries in New York who already may be members of the New York State Deferred Compensation Plan. Show them that how seamless it is to come work for us. Let's flip the script for once.
Are there any administrative costs, direct costs to, or fees to set this up beyond filling out the paperwork?
Yeah, we
I don't,
sure.
I don't
don't
believe
think there's any fees per se, but.
it's the employees' money essentially that they'll contribute.
The library does not have pay for it, the library's not on the hook for it. Doesn't manage it, it's again, the deferred compensation plan manages it. And personally, I gotta say it answer quite well.
Joy, I'm gonna ask a question, if I may, Paul. And apologize, I don't know. But do we currently do a direct deposit for employees or do we do live checks?
Most everybody is direct deposit. Is
And
that
so
okay?
having these multiple destinations where money should be sent, is that adding a lot to the administrative time in order to administer that, or is it sort of set it up at the annually and then it just rolls through, or is it add time every single month that now you have to cut 3 checks, and that's probably not a good.
So typically I would have to make sure it's 26 pay periods per year. So every time I submit to the New York State retirement system, and I also submit to TIAA. And then for New York State retirement system, I submit once a month. For TIAA twice a month, depending on, 26 times.
Sure.
And then for New York State deferred comp, I can't say, it could be 26 or it could be 12.
We would, actually, the payroll service would do it.
Well, the payroll service would make sure that the taxes and things are taken out, but would submit the amount. Does that make sense? Like a pass through again type system.
Got it. But would that typically be set up with employees on a annual basis, so it's a percentage, or do they say, oh, this month I want to contribute this much, and next month I want to do more, the month after that I go, something came up, and now I want to do less? I just want to understand how much.
Oh, yeah,
work
sure.
It is for us administratively.
So typically during the year, at the beginning of the year, I give everybody a form that chooses to sign up, and they can tell me how much from TIAA that they would like to, percentage of how much they would like taken out per pay period. So I do that every year. So I'm assuming it's the same exact thing for New York State deferred comp. So we just update that, and people can in the mid-year come to me and say, hey, can I add more, or can I, reduce my contributions?
As a state employee,
Thank you.
Yep.
I have the option of by phone or online adjusting my contributions throughout the year with about 1 month lag time. I do not have to go to my personnel or payroll departments. I work directly with the Deferred Compensation Fund. Mind you, I was a state employee, but I work directly with them. I did not have to bother my agency staff with it at all.
Sounds like it might be a little bit different here, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure we're not. In the interest of trying to create benefits for the employees, we're creating huge burdens for administration, so.
I mean, it'll be what it'll be. So whatever you all decide, we'll just make it work.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you
Yep,
so much.
you're welcome. Sure.
Thank you, Paul. You have any thoughts on this?
Right?
Do you have any thoughts on this topic?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Do you have any thoughts on this topic? You think it's
Well, I just don't see why we have 2 plans for 6 people. Those are the only people that are actually,
I think it's more of a future thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just,
as we recruit, and this. My experience with this plan personally has been, it is so simple that some people who may not be making use of it now may choose to. Once it's available to them.
It might be, I'm just gonna throw this out there, it might be worthwhile to see, just so we're not, making Joy learn the ins and outs of New York State deferred comp system, and then explaining it to our wonderful employees here. It might be worth.
They do outreach.
Yes, it might be
They
worth
do
saying
outreach.
that someone from deferred comp would be willing to talk to the employees.
They do that.
Sell it a little bit. Let's go throw that.
They do that. They come right to your facility to do outreach.
Did you want me to reach out again to the rep that I spoke to and have them? I'm just waiting to figure out what everybody decides to do. And then we can from there.
We can make a decision on the motion, you know, because it says begin the process,
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to look into it. How does this sound? We'll leave it as begin the process by next month. If you have had a chance to get back to us, to let us know how it's working out or what information you've received. So if there's gonna be a cost or if it's gonna be a burden, then we'll know. And then we can stop the process before we actually sign any dotted lines. Because I'm sure at some point, we're gonna have to accept and make a board vote on whether or not we officially join, right? Usually that's the way those institutions work, like having to freeze officially. Does that make any sense?
I think exploring is certainly a worthwhile thing and. Having them come and make a presentation to staff and see if their staff have interest or not, you might even poll. Interested parties if we're hiring.
Because it got 2 new people. And one of them studied, are you gonna stay? Account, who knows?
Okay.
So, we have the motion, we have the second. All in favor?
I,
Marie?
Could you repeat the motion, please?
Do you want me to just read it?
yes, please.
The motion is to authorize the director to begin the process of enrolling the Troy Public Library in the New York State Deferred Compensation Plan. An emphasis on beginning the process and allowing the library to explore options.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anne Marie, are you a yay?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you take
Nay?
a vote? Yes.
Okay, you're a yay, okay. Thank you. So. I think that'll work.
Cool.
This stuff. Facilities use policy. Please,
Yeah, well, it's not that I have one.
right now, we're gonna discuss, the discussion of.
Just the discussion, and this sort of revolves around, I gave you quite a lengthy portion on my director's report about First Amendment audits, which we sort of experienced. I put it under the category of First Amendment audits, even though it was a bit strange to begin with. And the person involved really began by, disturbing other patrons in the first place. And then proceeded to film with his phone various places in the building and staff members and was really harassing staff and disturbing patrons. And we asked the person to stop filming and they refused, and we asked the person to leave and they refused to do that. And this happened at least in 2 different days. We had to call the police and they were reluctant because they had fears of interfering with someone's First Amendment rights. And so they went through a whole bunch of discussion on this. And so what it does, and I called our attorney for some clarification as to what we need. We have a statement in our code of conduct that says, it is a very simple statement, it just says that filming is not allowed unless you have the director's permission. And that's about it. It sounds like in my discussion with with our attorney that we really need to expand this whole issue and rewrite the facilities use statement that would include photography and filming, that sort of thing. So I was going to work on that, for our next meeting. And we had a second gentleman come in too. Who also, now he was really doing his First Amendment audit. And he went around and filmed and, he was asked not to do that without permission. And I explained to him at the time, actually I gave him the whole paper that we have, public libraries are considered limited public spaces, they're not considered full public spaces like a public park. And I explained the whole idea of limited public places that serve a particular purpose, or very often limited public places like the courthouse, the city hall. What? So that when we were perfectly within our rights to require that the person has permission before they do any filming. So we follow through with all that, and we're not the only people that have, First Amendment warnings. I mean, this is a fairly common occurrence, but I think that we definitely need to take a good hard look at our facilities use policy, at least when where it involves photographing and filming in the library. Because it actually also involves, they do copy of confidentiality as well. So we're gonna review that, and I will probably submit it to our attorneys to give us a sort of clean slate.
Paul, I would also be very interested in seeing the rewritten.
What that?
I'd be very interested in seeing just the draft of the rewritten facilities use policy. Simply because, so when I heard about the First Amendment auditor who came in,
Yeah,
I was a little disturbed by that. I did some research and I actually talked to the attorney on my own, and they actually directed me to the 1992 Court of Appeals case. That laid out the language of a limited public use facility.
yeah.
We are fully within our legal rights to restrict people from filming in space. It is a matter of patron privacy. The First Amendment essentially limits how we can limit the public's access to the materials we provide here,
Yeah,
and no other coverage. So,
yeah, I think we might. Yeah, I was gonna review, all of the policies that that I can in terms of what public libraries have.
if I
We
may,
may get a little difference in opinion in a couple of cases, and then legally as well. Our attorney pointed out that, it has been discussed in court cases that, a person has the right to film civil servants in their work. So if somebody comes in, theoretically, and wants to film people at the circulation desk who are working. The only problem with that is, are you filming what folks, people are taking out at the same time? It's not.
It's a lesser issue, but still significant, given some of our holdings here. Is part of the reason for having director's approval to me is to make sure that whatever techniques you're using, such as lighting, don't damage our materials and collections.
Yeah, I think,
sure.
I think, yeah, this is a slightly difficult thing. I think bottom line is, I think it should remain that to film in the library, you need the director's permission. I think, I think that's what I want to get to, but I think we need to define the whole thing a little better. For example, our attorney had mentioned, well, does anybody else film the one? Well, yeah, Channel 6 comes in and does the filming. Okay,
The prior authorization.
we do weddings and people want to get filmed, you know, by the books, that sort of thing. So we have to kind of define that.
If I may make a suggestion based on
Yeah.
other cases I've read about First Amendment auditors, which. I have in just my own personal research that was never really conducted in good faith, but mostly intended. To provoke people in the public space, which I'm disturbed about, quite frankly. I would recommend that in a rewriting of the facilities policy, you make that permission that you grant expressively written, whether that's physical or an email, and specify a time period.
Yeah.
You need to have that
Yeah.
authorization.
I think that's, yeah, I think that would be a part of it. It's probably a good idea to do. You know, and again, you have a case where. You gotta include, okay, if people come in, and this was pointed out to me, you know, we light up the Tiffany window, you know, and
It's a camera
they
out.
just, yeah. How does that fit in, you know?
Well, no, it's suing us for that. So,
So
or
that's the kind of, I mean, like I said, I think we probably have to cover more bases than we did. And that's what I would be working on.
Facility use policy, that also covers the use of meeting rooms,
Yeah, covers all that.
because that's another thing that. Considering what some of our other member libraries have been facing. That we want to. See where that would lead us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not understanding what you're referring to, Evelyn.
Bethlehem Public Library. Had a problem with a speaker, not one of their. Support, it wasn't a library program, but someone was using the library.
Somebody wanted to have a public meeting in the library who was representing a group that did not meet the normal social boundaries. Some way?
Some way, that certainly had opposition to the speaker speaking. But according to their meeting policy, they needed to allow the speaker to speak. But managed, when they did something that was contrary to their code of conduct. And their explicit rules at that library, they were able to say no. But it got quite a protest. I understand their board took 3 hours to discuss what they were gonna do with it.
If anybody wants to have a meeting, but.
Yeah. And I understand Bethlehem now has put a moratorium on the use of their meeting rooms for at least a month, if not longer.
By
Wow.
everybody.
No, their supported programs are.
I could certainly take a look at what they.
Yeah, and they're, I understand
They
the process of working on their own policy, and you might hear more about that tomorrow. I'm hoping, if not, that is something that we need, we has reviewed it and realized that according to, but we just redid this.
Yeah.
That we have to say yes to, because. Sure. And you don't change your policy, you face the issue, you do it before or well after. So, I just want to make, so we have all that stuff, so it'll be fun this way.
I've also
Yes.
heard that patrons can be uncomfortable. Being seen doing certain things. Which would and being filmed would probably make them even more uncomfortable.
Oh, the filming part, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a privacy violation.
Like I know that the library, I remember the library having HIV testing. Well, how would you like to be filmed? You know?
But you know,
That's a different.
yeah, there's a different, yeah, very, and the thing is, I think, there are certain legalities, if you are in a public space, do you give up your right to be, what's a better word, incognito? I think you can't say no, although I've seen some televised piece blur out a face if they haven't gotten the rights to use that face, but I know you go to a food fundraiser, they take your picture, there's nothing to do back. run away real quickly before they get the camera out. But you're right. Okay, anything else on this for now?
Since you bring that up, it might be worth having a policy. Do we have a policy that states something about library or our programs that maybe you may be filmed or photographed for promotional services by use of library, something like that? Or if we're reviewing policy, something like that. Since you bring it up, I mean, that's important. I had this at least, so.
We might have something, I'm not sure anywhere. I do know that when pictures are taken
Yeah.
at programs, the group is always asked,
Okay,
is there anyone here who does not want their picture taken?
okay,
That's true.
They're really good about that.
okay, that's good.
But-
It might be worth having.
But no,
Policy.
institutionalizing
Yes.
it might be a good idea.
Yeah, there is wording also, I mean. Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
not
we-
just in meetings, but. you know,
Right.
In the regular operation of the library.
in the,
Something that you can post.
for the program, they also have like an attendance list. It could just be like, it could be written at the top there and you can
But
make
your
it there.
attendance, it's an explicit.
Yeah, or they like initial or
Yeah,
something.
we do something very similar when we pick up traction street, so.
Okay. Institutionalizing, it's always a good idea.
Yes.
Director's report.
Okay.
Thank you.
So regarding the staff, and we have hired Ruth Smith. Who as a librarian one in adult services. Ruth comes to us from Charleston County Public Library in Charleston, South Carolina. And she started yesterday.
No matter.
We also hired Maureen Kaiser, who has substituted for us in the past. As part of our adult services staff.
What is the substitute? Does she work for us on like a part-time thing?
Yeah, it's like a substitute, yeah,
Okay.
just comes in, when we need them.
Then, if you don't mind, we need to acknowledge.
Yes, you need
Do
to.
you like to, we do have, we did Ruth Smith. Sorry. We did Ruth Smith last month, so she's okay,
Yeah, I forgot.
but we need
I could have been.
Lorraine. Do you want to do the honors?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Make a motion that we acknowledge the hiring,
We accept.
accept the hiring of Maureen Kaiser. And that says library one or two. Library one or two.
Paul, is Lorena a library one or two? Oh, one.
Library one.
Second. Second.
All in favor?
I,
Marie? Marie? Hello?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Done.
Okay, I covered the Lansingburg and also the First Amendment order of business. The safety committee did not meet because, we didn't have people. But they will be meeting again on the 17th of this month, next week. And then I basically answered whatever questions we had on DIA and the deferred compensation plan from the next week. I don't know if there's any more questions on that. That's about it for now.
Yes, otherwise we go on to, let's get something.
We hired, did we have anyone leave this month that we have to?
Not in this report, but there is someone else.
Next month?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's just an acknowledge.
Mhm.
You don't accept. Right, old and new business.
question. I wanted to know, follow up on the education training program at CDTA that you did in December.
Yes,
Wanted to hear how that went.
I'm sorry,
The education training program that you did with the APL and CDTA in December. That would be the director's report, so I wanted to know how that.
Yeah, basically it was, boy, I got my memory. Basically it was about, de-escalation. And it was,
who attended?
3 of us attended, Carol Roberts from Young People's, Virginia, and myself. And I'm going to, I'm gonna be asking if we can do the same presentation for us, in service.
One, what, pardon me, I forgot his last name, and his first name's Jack
Kroger.
Kroger. I was like thinking Jack
Yeah.
Reacher, but I was like, that's. Tom
Yeah, I'm
Cruise.
Better than. That's not de-escalation.
Oh. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. When do we anticipate having him come in and train our staff?
Hopefully in February.
Have you already in discussion with them?
No,
How would that go? Would that be,
that would be an in-service here.
and would you shut down the library for a few days, or for a few hours or something, or?
Well, I'm still debating that amongst myself. We sometimes have done a half day close, and then last time was a full day close. And I'm right now kind of putting together what the program would be, it depends on, what the program is, how long it takes.
And how long was the program in Albany?
Oh, that one? A little over an hour.
Oh.
Yeah, because that wasn't really, that was just discussion.
Yeah, it was just.
But the in-service will cover more than just
Yeah,
the. Education is important, take the time you need.
Yes, absolutely.
Education is important, take whatever time you need to do it.
well, that's why we subscribe to Library 2.0.
Sometimes having everybody together and not on a computer separately is a really good idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true, but there's a lot of stuff that they have that's really worthwhile.
I didn't say anything about not having that, but I'm just saying, too, getting together, face to face, together where you can communicate is a better way of educating people.
I agree.
All right, any other new or old business?
1 second.
Okay. Oh, maybe anybody else have something?
Yes, that's what I was looking for a couple minutes. Just following up again from last month, about the community engagement clerk, I've been working on that. Job description.
No, I don't have one yet.
Okay, can we? I guess still am learning what we're allowed to ask for you, but, if we can set that is done by. This
Well,
next
yeah,
board
there's
meeting,
really 2 parts to that, is designing the petition, and the second part is not budgeted. So finding the money.
I think the finding the position though would be worth at least having a conversation. Once we understand what the position is, let's have a conversation about whether it's worth having. I don't think. Could happen. If we don't know what it is, we can't say like it or not like it, so I think it'd be great to hear what it is.
I think it's a good model to go off of in Albany, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much work on our end, it's mostly just adapting the language.
No, it's not difficult, I think, and, Saratoga had a similar observation, so I think it's around.
I think there was some feel here and people who talked to Andrea and talked to staff, that's a good idea to do. It's just paying for it. And there was the thought that there would be that amount, and that was, but before Lansing got flooded, or as, I don't know if anyone got to see the report from Upper Hudson and their commentary. It's in the Upper Hudson report, the monsoon that occurred inside. Yeah,
Goodness.
oh yeah, they were involved in this little process
That's
too.
got colorful language.
Yes, they have a very
Or
colorful
waterfall.
automation IT department. They're my favorite part of reading reports. Sorry, Tim, they're much even better than you as a writer.
So can we
Yeah.
request that the position, this job description is created by the next board meeting, so we can review it?
Get that.
Probably, had Lansingburg not flooded, I think that would be an easy day. Right now, there's a lot of work on my plate.
We'll have the job description, and the longer we have it to discuss as a board, we can talk about budgeting it as we move into budget season. As the year progresses.
That makes some sense.
At least the first term, may not be finalized.
That way people who aren't really aware of what the job would entail or could entail would be informed. You know, it's a starting point. It's gonna take a little while for us to approve that type of position anyways. And that is, for what it's worth, part of our responsibility is approving new positions as we add them to the library. And that's not our taking that, that's our duty according to the handbook.
Right.
Sorry about that. It's one of those areas we get involved in operations and then we walk away. All right, any other new old business? All right, community feedback.
I have heard from a number of Lansingburg residents, that they hope the Lansingburg branch is open soon. And I've also heard that people would be interested in updates on what actually happened. So I think taking some photos of it, maybe using the library's distribution, just give people that, hey, we're working on fixing the roof. Sort of the floor, I think the community would appreciate that.
Is.
Hello, hi Laura.
Hi, so there have been updates regularly posted by our friends group right now on social media. We can expand those if you would like, but there are updates being posted
Okay,
Well-
just by the friends though.
just by the friends,
And just on their social media,
just on their social media.
and Kirsten's got a,
I read in the article that there's a note attached to the door saying that the library is closed at least until the 3rd of January. I'm hoping that that sign is being updated,
That sign currently says that we are closed through January 2024, possibly longer.
okay, maybe it was a misquote from the library, from the newspaper. I thought it said the 3rd of January. I'm glad it's.
The old sign did say that.
The old
but
sign,
it's
but there's a new sign up. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much, Lori. I appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
problem.
yep, and you know, I will say this for those of us who shy away from social media, not everybody's on social media, not only everyone has access to the friend's social media. Or ours, I can get on our Facebook page, I can't even get onto our Instagram page. So if there's maybe some other ways we could get those photos and. Because I know we sent out a blast. Also, Upper Hudson helped send out the blast to everybody, telling everybody what the update was. They made it clear it was written by the library, but Upper Hudson sent it out because they have wider breadth of ability in that, in setting up mass mailings. Maybe that's a way of doing it too.
Is there a sign here saying that it's closed until further notice?
I haven't seen
There
it.
is not. That's a good idea, though, the Zan. We have an update on our website. I'm happy to post photos, video, whatever we have on that, or give them to Joy to post. If that's all right with you guys.
Sounds great. Thank you, Lori.
That's a good call.
Well, you have no objection to getting the word out in other ways?
No.
Updates. People love, you were the one that wrote that fairly long one about what's going on because people were asking so many questions.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I have no problem getting the word out. We had just, you know, I wanted the Friends to do that fundraising thing under their name,
Mhm.
and I think that worked well.
We did.
Well, you actually made an update yourself about what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, from the library itself, not just the Friends. I'm glad the Friends are doing it. I'm very happy that they're doing it. It's just that we need to do things for people who aren't connected to their stream of communication.
I see.
We can also, if I may,
Oh,
we
please.
send out a newsletter, an e-newsletter, like at the
Well,
end
yeah,
of
we
I
did
was
that.
thinking about that.
January. I can add that on there and also link to the Friends page with photos and so on, so.
Well, that would be great.
But that goes out too, like the same way that the description went out originally.
Mhm.
Goes
There's
through,
like
uh,
700 people on that list, I think.
Yeah, whatever that list is.
Thank you, it sounds great ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of select photos, take to the door of the building.
Yeah.
People want to peer inside, what's going on?
Any other community feedback?
Yes. I had someone complain to me about concerns of safety and being locked into the library. Also that there were no exit signs in the meeting rooms and questioned what would happen if somebody who was unable to do the stairs had to leave without the use of an elevator.
Well, matter of fact, the safety committee has been working on. A statement that would be made in every meeting of where the exits are. Things like don't use the elevator and, you know, a review of, a brief review of our code of conduct. And those statements would be read at every public gathering. So we would point out, it's kind of like, you know, in your airplane thing, you know, the exits and that sort of thing.
Paul, I would also, I know the fire codes aren't necessarily uniform based on jurisdiction, but I know they do define certain, areas. Staircases, landings, areas of rescue, for lesser able than disabled people to congregate, so they don't have to use an elevator in their emergency. It might be worth just getting a sign and defining that as we're going over.
You want to be careful about that?
Okay.
There are very specific requirements for what an area of refuge is,
Okay.
and it goes beyond just a little place on the two-way communication devices have to be provided. Has some certain levels of containment depending on the type of building or type of space you're putting it in. So I
Good to know.
can be supportive of that, but I think it's well beyond just posting a little sign.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't come up with an answer. You know, what we could do with the stairs. We didn't, I mean,
People.
Well, it's one thing we've talked a lot about is a new fire stair, egress stair, in which case we could then easily
That would be.
built to smart section. Yes, and these stairs, as lovely as they are very different than what we required by modern codes for egress. But you can still have that, and you're allowed to have that in ordinance.
And it would be very expensive to do the approved work of it. I don't know if you've ever seen powered curtains. But it would be very difficult, and in the hierarchy where we want to spend our money, we would spend it on safety in other ways first, and for more bang for our buck.
Yes. Good.
Marie, could you expound on that comment about being locked in the library?
Oh, when when meetings go on after the library closes, the doors are locked.
You don't
And,
expel people from the library?
pardon?
You get locked in there.
Well, that's us. What of us complain?
Only like, well. I don't know. This meeting
What?
could run over, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So I let you out. That's the only case like that could happen.
Well, when we had the Meet the Candidates night, there were, other than the board members present, and the doors were locked.
What?
Did it go
Wasn't-
past?
Weren't members of staff present there? Like,
Pardon?
sir?
At the Meet the Candidates night, there were members of the public present.
Yeah, but there were also members of the staff.
With the
But
key?
those was locked, I believe, is what I got heard.
Right,
So-
but somebody
Oh.
couldn't get out unless the staff member let them out.
Well, you can't leave the door open after 8 because then people could wander in after everyone's been carefully cleared out to make sure the place is safe from trespassing.
I think we could say that the egress doors in the building are not compliant with current modern code requirements if it were a new building. However, because it's a historic building, maintaining them as they are is probably okay. But that if we're building new, we could provide compliant doors and egress.
Not only with.
No, this was, brought up in-
Renovation thresholds where we would click in.
This has been brought up in the safety committee, and, you know, the doors are the problem. I mean, normally how you handle it is panic.
Yeah, and the doors will be out.
There's no way we can put panic bars
Because
in
the
these
doors.
doors.
Yeah.
But the door would be locked from the outside,
Yes, and bars could be.
but you could get out.
But you can't
Yeah,
come in.
just an exit.
This would be part, in this building, it would be part of a larger discussion about changing accessibility of using the main door.
And I think
And
the
I-
plan behind you shows reworking those doors to meet them.
Don't think we've got a solution now.
We are exploring solutions. We are exploring solutions, but they are part of a larger plan that. Part of a lot.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I will say this as a point of amusement, there was a patron who, once they were locked in today. Because they couldn't get the door to push open, another person did, they were just so stuck from the inside. Yeah, like you got it. All right, so any other community feedback?
Well, I was wondering, is it necessary to have exit signs? Does anyone know,
In the meeting rooms specifically?
within the meeting rooms?
It's not an exit.
Well. Listen.
It would depend on the number of occupants in the room.
Thank you.
Okay, any other? Okay, public comment.
I have a few things I wanted to say. First, I wanted to follow up from last meeting and let you guys know that the zero tolerance signs are posted. If you didn't notice those. I wanted to thank Paul for following up with this First Amendment issue. This is not our First Amendment audit. They've been happening throughout the years. They peaked in COVID. So I'm glad that we're going to address any holes in our policies that will be able to reinforce the staff empowerment when there is harassment or a disruption. And I'm a little hesitant to say the next part, but I really feel like not only as a department head, but a leading member of the safety committee, that honestly, what my perception of the biggest concern regarding this was not the actual person or the incident. It's the police response to that matter. That is what created the unsafe feelings. I'm happy to discuss that at length with anybody separately from this meeting, but I know Paul is also following up on that. But I really feel like it's important for the board as a whole to understand that the police response created the larger problem with this patron.
Virginia, you're not willing to elaborate on that right now?
They refused to remove the person from the building because they didn't want to be entrapped in some sort of civil suit about violating their First Amendment rights. And even intimidated, argued, and were completely disrespectful to staff. Details I'm willing to share privately, outside of a public meeting, but totally unacceptable behavior. And I feel like it's important to make that known to the board as a whole in the many hats that I wear. I would not feel comfortable not having raised it while being at this meeting.
Thank you.
I think that I also want to say thanks to Zan for following up with things and keeping things going forward. I really appreciate that what you're doing for that. You guys did talk about a few things. As Paul said, the safety committee already has been reviewing or on our minds, like the egress of the doors. I am going to bring up at our meeting next week, labeling a meeting place for disabled persons for rescue. That was something that we had already been working on as part of our procedures updating, and the exit signs in meeting rooms and what we feel is appropriate going forward. So I just want to let you know those are going to be put on the agenda for that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Any other public comment?
I was just gonna add that I was there actually when the cops were here, and it also made me very uncomfortable as a patron and just to watch the situation with the staff. I was deeply upset by it, so thank you for bringing that up, Virginia. Yeah, it is an issue.
And Dan saw one of the encounters. I got to see another one, and
I got to watch some of the tape. It's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, it's
It's like 45 minutes.
ridiculous.
but watching the police and their
That's
interaction was, it's harder to watch than anything else too.
Yeah.
Trump library. First Amendment.
Like after
I don't know.
to get the video, yeah. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, none. So date and time of our next meeting is February 13th.
I got the date right though, didn't
You did really good.
I?
And I did double check just in case.
Yeah, but.
That's Valentine's Day.
No, that's
14.
No, there's Valentine versus Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Valentine's
it's
Day.
where you hang out with your friend.
Yes.
Oh, I thought I called.
We're not.
It's also Fat Tuesday.
It
Oh.
is.
Gee, that's interesting.
Oh,
Things
cool.
I learned.
Yeah.
Um,
Valentine's is also.
Right.
Oh, interesting, even more interesting. And then 5 o'clock for finance. Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second. All right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Feel like
Recording
fun.
stopped.